I decided in the beginning of this year that I want to try to stop drinking coffee for some time. I find coffee to be quite an interesting addiction because it's both behavior and chemical. Not only that, but it's also very socially enforced. Since everyone else is drinking coffee and it's so widely available, you will have a hard time to just remove coffee completely out of your life. As a quick background, I used to drink between 4 and 8 cups of coffee per day, and 2 of those used to always be out on town in different cafes and coffee shops. That meant I spent a pretty significant amount of money every month on coffee. It would roughly be €5 per day. That is about 1,800 euros per year spent on coffee out on cafes only. I also put an immense amount of emotional connection towards coffee. I needed to have the best coffee all of the time, otherwise I wouldn't be happy. I had an Instagram account about coffee. I was taking pictures of beautiful coffees everywhere where I was traveling. And definitely all in all I had this image around coffee that I am a coffee drinker and I am kind of a coffee connoisseur. I thought about this a lot in the beginning of the year and came to the realization that coffee is controlling me. I'm not controlling the coffee. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is having a cup of coffee. And whenever I get tired during the day, the first thing I do is drinking coffee. Therefore, I want to make a coffee detox and after that make an active decision whether I'm gonna be a coffee drinker or not. Quitting coffee is quite hardcore. You will feel bad. So make sure that you select a time period where you're not super much under pressure and have to deliver, for example, of work stuff or in your personal life. You will need to be able to feel bad during a few days because otherwise you're never gonna get out of the chemical addiction that coffee actually is. Once you have pinned down in your calendar a 1-week period where you can allow yourself to stop drinking coffee, you need to make sure if you want to make a hard quit, just go cold turkey completely, or if you want to gradually quit. I decided to hard quit on making coffee at home, but to gradually quit when it comes to drinking coffee out on town. Quitting a habit is a lot about availability. So the first few steps you would take in this process is to throw out your coffee beans. And I'm not meaning just throw the bag in the bin. That means you could pick it up from the bin and make yourself a cup of coffee tomorrow. Just bin all of the beans or bin all of your coffee powder so that you can't retrieve it again. If you have a ton of nice coffee at home, probably it's a better idea to give it away to someone that you like. Or maybe someone that you dislike. Would you like to have this fancy coffee from Tesco as a gift? Yeah, of course, I love fancy coffee. And also I love free stuff, so that's perfect. But I find there's definitely some power in this action of throwing some of your coffee away to kind of break up with the habit and make sure that this is the last cup of coffee you brew for yourself at home. Second step in making it harder to drink coffee is to remove all your coffee making gear. Just take whatever machines or whatever devices you are using to make your coffee and place them as far away from where you usually make coffee as possible. In my case, since I'm living on the road currently, throwing out my coffee gear is quite simple because the only thing I have is this Espro travel press. And this one I've just put away in my room so that it's out of the kitchen where I could make coffee with it. When you both get rid of your coffee and your coffee making kit, that means you both have to go out and get new coffee and move back your coffee making gear into its original place if you want to cheat and have a cup of coffee. Removing availability is such a helpful tool for changing a habit. When you decide to stop drinking coffee, you might want to replace it with some other kind of drink. I didn't want to add another warm beverage, so I opted for just drinking water and sometimes drinking lemon water in the morning. I think lemon water is great as a morning drink. It's healthy, it's got no sugar in it, and it tastes really good. It's a little bit more luxurious than water, if you will. So just like that, in about 10 seconds, my new morning beverage of choice is ready to drink. Even though my Espro travel press was really quick for making coffee, this definitely takes the price. If you go out to cafes a lot with friends, you need to make a decision of what beverage or what item you will replace the coffees you would normally buy with. You could replace it with tea, mate, maybe a soda, just a glass of water with something to eat, or maybe a kombucha, which is a really healthy alternative to drinking those coffees all of the time. When it comes to tracking habits, I think tracking really helps, although I'm not a fan of tracking habits for the sake of running streaks. I'm not using any apps or fancy devices to track my progress when I'm building a new habit. I just make a simple habit tracker with a box that I then make 31 small squares in. So the way I'm setting up my habit tracker is usually just a bunch of boxes like this, one for each day, and then I make a cross the days where I succeeded with the habit, and then just a line when I didn't succeed with the habit. During the first few days, you might have headaches when you try to get off coffee. I had headaches for about 3 or 4 days, and I decided to allow myself to have one painkiller per day to combat these headaches. I'm not pro taking medicines in general, but in this case I figured that for a short term it would be necessary to be able to live a somewhat normal life and not have a constant headache. My normal coffee consumption would be 5 cups per day on average, that is 150 cups in 1 month. And in February, which was the first month after I decided to quit, I had 14 cups of coffee during the whole month. In March, that was 4 cups of coffee, and that was only during the first half of March. Then, in the middle of March, lockdown hit London, so there's basically no place to go out to have a coffee, except taking one for takeaway. So between the middle of March until now, the end of April, I've had 1 cup of coffee in total. I had that cup of coffee like 6 o'clock in the evening, and then after that could not fall asleep at night and completely screwed my sleep patterns up. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I got really excited to try coffee after such a long time without it.
What's happening, Jonas? What's happening?
First coffee in a month. To sum this up, I feel really good to say that I don't need coffee to be energetic. When I wake up in the morning, I don't go for coffee the first thing I do. And I don't have that afternoon crazy tiredness that I used to have before, when I always drank coffee in the morning and then the caffeine stopped working sometime in the afternoon and I either had to drink coffee or had to have a nap to feel good. I'm gonna stay without coffee and I'm gonna have 1 coffee when I really feel like it. Preferably a decaf one. If you decide to try this habit, you can go to exploringyourself.org and you will find a bit of a cheat sheet there with all the information that I've been talking about in this video. And remember, you don't have to quit 100% right away to make this a new habit. I went from more than 100 cups in January to 14 cups in February. Even though that's a gradual quit, I still think it's a really good progress. And then I was able to quit and coffee is not part of my life anymore. This is Exploring Yourself, and if you enjoyed the content, it would be lovely to see you as a subscriber to this channel. We're gonna put out monthly content around building habits and building a lifestyle that you actually like and want. That's all for now. Keep exploring yourself, and I will see you in the next video. If you need an idea for what to do with all this newfound time that you have on your hands, check out Skillshare. They have a ton of nice courses, and if you sign up with the link in the description below, you will get 2 months free while at the same time supporting this brand new YouTube channel.